láti ìgbà tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí AD AC ACN agbẹdórí APC oògùn ẹ̀fọ́rí àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́.
Don't pity me. I asked for the job. I campaign for it. No excuses. I will live up to the bill. I promise you.
The President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration presented itself to Nigerians with 8-point agenda of renewed hope. How well has the administration fared in this regard? Join us on Smash 88.1 FM as we take a look at this in commemoration of the 1 year in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on a special edition of Smash Lens. Today, Wednesday, May 29th, 2024 from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Don't miss this opportunity to reflect on where we are coming from, where we are, and where we are heading to as a nation. Do not forget, join us.
Yes, a beautiful morning to you, wherever you are listening to Smash 88.1 FM. It's the special edition of Smash Lens coming through the airwaves, your airwaves from your spada Smash 88.1 FM. And because it's a special edition, that is why we have a very full studio. Because, when we're talking about our nation, it's something that is very, very important because we don't have another nation we can call our own. Like I always tell people, even if you go to another country, you become a citizen of that country, the Nigerian blood is still in you. And that is why Anthony Joshua today will be referred to as Nigerian-born British boxer. So that is why we have to hold dearly to our hearts, our dear country, Nigeria. We should be proud of it, and everything that concerns Nigeria should be uppermost in our hearts and in our mind. So today, we are doing something that is very, very important, very critical, because exactly 1 year ago, the president of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was sworn in as the president of their nation. And because of that, in commemoration of that 1 year in office, we are taking a look at the journey so far. How well have we fared regarding the journey of Mr. President as a nation, as citizens, and of course as individuals. That is what we are going to be taking a look at this morning. And this morning, like I said, we have a full house. I have in the studio with me my colleague, Morire Rabila Lawal. And, we have two wonderful guests in the studio. A very, very, very intelligent guest. I have to say it without fear of favor, because I just have to put it the way it is. But before I'll introduce our guest, let me bring on my colleague. Moriri, good morning to you.
Good morning, beautiful people, and beautiful city of Beokuta, capital city of Ogun State. My name remains Moriri Rabila Lawal. On this interesting package of the program, Smash Lens, we'll be talking about how Nigeria has been so far in the last 1 year and what we should expect after this occasion commemorating the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And as my senior colleague just mentioned, that is, we'll have big personalities in the studio with us. You'll be listening to them live while introducing themselves. Thank you once again.
Okay, thank you once again. And we have in the studio Dr. Ayo Arowojolu. Like the Yorubas we say, Oduni Wawa Kinshi, I'm a Foloko. Even though I might not I might not have seen him for so long, and we hardly meet, but on the job, wherever you are, we meet. And I know for you that are listening, you know that it's a well-known name when you talk about public affairs issues, and when you talk about commenting on the paramount important germane issues. So we have in the studio Dr. Ayo Arowojolu, a public affairs analyst. Dr. Ayo, good morning to you.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
And we also have in the studio a very senior colleague to us. The Dr. Ayaro Jolu is also a senior colleague anyway, but let me leave
I think we are colleagues. That's
okay, let me toe the line of my colleague. He called him colleague, but he came in and actually said I'm his senior colleague. Like we say on radio, it's a first name calling, no respect, but off the mic, we know how we respect ourselves, and that is what my colleague just did, and that is what I'm also doing for you. So we have in the studio Mr. Dele Akinshola, a journalist and a public affairs analyst too. Mr. Akinshola, welcome to the program.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. And I want to also say good morning to our distinguished listeners and Nigerians out there.
Okay, you also have the voice to be part of the program this morning. The number to call is 09048 881. That is the number for you to call to be part of the discourse this morning. And you can also join us on our Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, type as Smash 88.1 FM. There you get to see us live in the studio, and you get to drop your comments on the Facebook page. Like I said, we don't have any other nation that we can call our own. It's Nigeria, and we just have to be concerned. We just have to know what is happening. We are all stakeholders in our own right. So, and that is why it's very, very important for everybody out there to be part of the program this morning. So what are we taking a look when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was to come into office, and eventually okay, let me start from when he was to come into the office. On the day of his inauguration, that was what you heard from that particular promo. He said, "Don't pity me, I asked for the job and I will deliver." How well has he delivered is what we are taking a look at. Because when he came in, he came in with an 8-point agenda of renewed hope.
Absolutely.
I don't know how well our hope has been renewed or have been renewed in the last 1 year. But he came in with 8. First on the list, we have food security. That was number 1 on his agenda. We have poverty alleviation, which is number 2 on his agenda. We have economic growth and job creation, which is the 3rd point of his agenda. Then the 4th one, we have access to capital. 5th, we have improving security. Then the 6th one, we have inclusion. And of course, the 7th one, we have rule of law. And the last but not the least, we have anti-corruption fight. But for the first segment of this special edition of Smash Lens, we'll be focusing our attention on the first 4 of the agenda that he actually rolled out to us when he assumed office as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Where Afenisa comes in for the other segment with 2 other guests, they will be taking a look at the last 4. So our focus at this point is going to be on food security, poverty alleviation, economic growth and job creation, and access to capital. So before my colleague will come in with his own shots, let me put it that way. Let me fire the first shot, and of course I'm going to be starting from Mr. Dele Akinshola. Okay, Mr. Akinshola, let me come to you at this point. Okay, they are telling me that we have to take a commercial break. So after the commercial break, I'll be coming in with my question. I will be getting full swing into the nitty-gritty of the discourse. Stay tuned.
Smash 88.1 FM. Feel it. Feel good.
OneXBet is offering a mind-blowing hyper bonus. Get ready for a gaming experience like no other. Place an accumulator bet and watch your winnings soar with our 1000% bonus. That's right, 1000%.
We now begin to understand what all these programs, are all about. In the last 1 year, I cannot say that we have experienced food security. What I will say that we have experienced so far is food insecurity. Because there is a food inflation in the country right now. Up till maybe a day, yesterday, a handful of pepper is 1,500 naira. Gari, that common cassava, made from cassava.
You call it common?
Well, it's no longer common. And it's no longer affordable. A basket, or they call it a bath, or whatever they call it, 35,000 naira. 3 months ago, I had to go to a village outside Abeokuta to go and buy that gari for 28,000 naira, because I couldn't have make sure that they go into mechanized farming and produce food, not only for local consumption, but also for export. That is launching, into that program of to ensure that there's food security. But here, if you look at it, I cannot see what the Minister of Agriculture is doing. In fact, the last time I would say we had the Minister of Agriculture in this country was when Dr.
No,
Adesina.
Akiwumi
Adesina of the president of African Development Bank. That was the last time we had a Minister of Agriculture who had programs and who was focused and he delivered. The records are there. But you see, having said that, even if the federal government has not really, come up with a good program on agriculture, look at states. The state governors are not even keen into whatever the federal government is putting on the table. You look at the states, for example, none of them, they are not establishing farm settlements. They are not into agriculture. Does not even it's not one of their programs. Nearby state or your state, Governor Sheyi Makinde is doing great thing in that state. I could see maybe about a month ago or thereabout that the man is going into mechanized farming, established farm settlement, and this in Southwest, for example, we had that program under the late Baba Awolowo, Shifa Obami Awolowo in the Old Western region, that we had this farm settlement. What will it cost this our governors, to be able to revive those farm settlements or even establish their own and pattern it after the Israeli model of farm settlement, where you can have schools, market, banks, and everything on the farm settlement, so that you don't need to come to town. Yeah. And let me say this, that our food security, what we have seen so far is unimpressive, and there's no impact, and everybody is feeling the pain, because they said a hungry man, an angry man, and so what if people cannot eat, they can't put food on your table. I pity families I pity large families these days. How are they coping? To be able to feed the family. And so for me, and I look at it critically and unbiased, there is nothing to write home about concerning this food. Okay, because to have food security, there must be security too for farmers on the farm. Okay. We have kidnappings and all of those things, and those things have not abated. And so this is what we have.
Okay, because of our time, so that we can touch on everything that we're supposed to actually touch on. Dr. Aruju, let me come to you. You've listened to Mr. Akishola talk, and
He has said it all.
I think my question for you at this point is that is there any hope for a better tomorrow in line with this particular Renew Hope agenda?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me say congratulations to our dear President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if for nothing at all, he has held forth on that seat for 1 year. There has been no military interruptions. Even though there have been serious pain. Punch wrote this morning in his editorial, barely almost all newspapers, and the summary of what they have said is that Tinubu's first anniversary, era of pain. You see, and let me start this way. And I'm going to quote the Punch editorial. You see, you don't joke with newspaper editorials. In those days, editorials is not for nothing. Editorials build public opinion and galvanize it.
Like you said, part of the role of the media is agenda setting.
Exactly.
Good agenda.
Exactly.
I'm not talking objective and good agenda.
So sometimes when you have a newspaper front page comment, if you don't take it serious, it's going to be at your peril. And Punch summarized this way, and I'm quoting them. Under Tinubu, Nigeria is a harsh contrast to Abraham Lincoln's democracy. It's the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Instead, only a tiny band of politicians, their families, and sycophants are laughing all the way to the bank. Well, I am wondering,
Okay.
of all mantras in the world, why Tinubu would choose hope, renewed hope. Don't forget, hope was the symbol of the Unity Party, maybe Action Party, all of them, down the line to even MK or Abiola, Hope 93. You see, what many of our politicians do, they go back to the archives. They don't walk, they talk. They may dress like Awolowo or put on his cap, talk about his philosophies, but they are not doing what Baba Awolowo was doing. Remember his famous statement. He said, at the time other Nigerians, those political people, when they will be rocking in the night, carousing, ladies of easy virtue, he said, I am at my desk, burning the candle, researching into the problems and solutions of Nigeria. We see the difference. Today, people just, you just talk by mouth. It's a mantra. Hope, renewed hope. And on May 29 last year,
we had change. A lot of people were asked, did anything really change? We had next level. A lot of people were asked,
no, you must
did we really get to the next level?
No,
we are now talking about renewed hope.
It's our problem as citizens. When somebody tells you we want to do change, please ask them very well.
What of the next level?
He said, change from what?
What of
Is
the
it
next
from top to bottom?
What of the next level?
If you are talking about next level, is it next level of poverty? That's what we have had.
And now we are
You now
talking about
renewed hope. Hope the what? Somebody called me early this morning, and he used to be a Tinubu apologist. He said, I cannot deceive you. The guy is a top, professor. He said, this is hope dashed. This is hope.
Okay, Dr. Jolu, because I'm checking our time, I think what you've also said a lot. Everything you said are actually very important. But one thing that I want you to really hit on is that can we talk of any hope at the end of the day? In regards to food security.
Okay, food security, fine.
Is there any hope?
You are taking it the way you want. I will summarize it for you. I don't mind if a government fails. How to, buckle up again, to roll up the sleeves is what is important.
Okay.
And my heart is bleeding. We're entering into another year. Nobody is telling us that this is what we would do differently. It scares me because the sufferings have gone to max level. You're talking about food security without electricity. How is it going to work? You see, let me tell you, this whole thing is a whole gamut of economic policies that has to be coordinated. In one breath, what you are doing is scaling up expenditures, is making life unbearable for the people. How do you talk about food security without proper storage of agricultural produces? And there is no electricity. A lot of them are going into solar.
I think my colleague has a question for you.
Okay, I'm here for you.
So you will start from you, then Mr. Akishola will also respond. But before then, we have some messages on our Facebook page. This one came in from Miriam O.A. Ajibo JP. She said, good morning, well done, sir. Then Wasil Monsuru said, good morning, sir. You can also join us on our Facebook page. Type Smash 88.1 FM. Drop your comments, and we'll read them. You can also call in on 09048881881. That is the number for you to call to be part of the program. Murray, your question.
Yes, once again, I'd like to appreciate your analysis and talks so far. And in commemoration of the special edition of Smart Lens we've been having, and as regards my own question, I just want to go straight. Is there any hope of a better tomorrow in line with this renewed hope agenda? Because what do you think as regards this administration needs to do? That's number one. Then number two, can you please try to compare the current social problems we have in Nigeria to that of the...
No planning, no preparation, beyond this extreme ambition, Emiloko. And Emiloko now, as they've turned into our loco. When somebody says Emiloko, we didn't envisage that, our Niyayikon. Somebody showed a picture of a driver. He carried produces with a lot of supporters, and he was going to plunge into a road overtaken by a crater, and there was water. He kept going. Ordinary common sense meant that no, he should not go. But those supporters said, go, keep going. And he kept going, and he kept going until everybody was thrown into the... So what we are saying is this.
Okay.
When you do not plan,
Yes.
you are planning to fail.
Sure.
When you entered into day one, by this time last year, this government supposed to have brought hope. What it brought instead was despair. When you announce subsidy is gone, and when, everything changed in Nigeria, it was like Nigeria was turning upside down. And they asked him somewhere on the African soil, why did you make that announcement? His explanation really is something we should fear. What did he say? He said, and I didn't plan to put that in my speech. It was not in my speech, but a particular spirit came upon me. And you don't rule by spirit.
Yes.
Spirit do not do governance.
At all.
Serious work. Many of these things that the government is bending as reform is just the agenda of somebody, a spur of the moment. Reforms are well thought out. People will put heads together. This subsidy is gone, came as in a blues, and no wonder. The Buhari was paying 400 billion naira a month on subsidy. This government, go and find out, about 600 billion, if not up to 650 billion on subsidy. So I am expecting that Tinubu should say, come, we made a mistake. It's a hallmark of a great leader. We made a mistake, we put the left foot forward. Say, okay, we are going to go back to May 29, 2023.
Yes.
But we are not hearing that.
Doctor, from your opinion and your submission right now, I get to learn that you're telling us that those policies or that statement that says fuel subsidy is gone.
Yes.
Are you supporting what the ex-president said? That yes, the policies are good, but wrongly implemented.
I support. At the level of President Obasanjo, there are ways he will talk. But, if he has been able to criticize the government, and he said 3 things are wrong with this government. 2 necessary, but wrongly implemented. I stand on that. If you wrongly implement something, because what he was trying to do, he doesn't understand. Right now, I want to say even President Tinubu does not understand the intricate nature of the petroleum industry, even though he is the Minister of Petroleum. Right now, the petroleum industry, the way it was even under Buhari, was better than now. What do we have now? We still have profiteers who are just making money out of all of us, and at the end of the day, we are the one paying. Go and look at petrol stations. You don't see queues big time like that again because people don't have money to buy
at the price.
That is, I spend 50,000 naira every week wasting it away, blowing the fuel away because I am not going to trek. Professors are trekking. Many people, directors in offices, they have abandoned their car. Many are selling their car. It's been a year of misery.
Okay, anyway, because we've spent more than half of our time, and we still have 3 more of the first 4 agenda to actually touch on. We've actually spoken about food security, which has led us into so many other discourse. But let's still remind those that are listening that the studio line is still open, 09048881881. That is the number for you to call to be part of the program. The next step on the agenda of the renewed hope agenda that we're talking about is poverty alleviation. Mr. Kishola, how well have we seen poverty being alleviated in the last 1 year of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Well, when the administration came on board to say that they're going to alleviate poverty, I'm sure they must have done their homework to know what is the poverty rate.
Okay, I think we have our first call. Let's pick this call.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm David calling from Abeokuta. First of all, Mr. Latif,
Yes.
we the fourth time deserve apology. We deserve apology. So we deserve apology. We're on our radio station around 8:30. We don't know that few people talking about politics today, but it's good.
There was a promo to that event. Maybe you didn't get to listen to it. We did a promo for that.
Okay, so and I want to tell him, I want to appreciate Mr. Ojoju and the other analysts. I always listen to him from other radio stations. I give it to him. And he's one of the Yoruba elders and the Yoruba whom I respect mostly because it's like he has been different to be sincere. He's the only Yoruba man that does not have this mentality to say, Omowani, which is a He's one of